The Russian military relies heavily on mass. They consolidate their forces into massive, static defensive bridgeheads, packing them with overwhelming troop numbers and shielding their command posts deep in the rear echelon. Cracking those positions requires high explosive precision. Until now, Ukraine's primary operational bottleneck has been an overwhelming dependence on munitions imported from the West, like the JDAM kit you see attached to this aircraft wing. Relying on foreign deliveries dictates the pace of combat. Every strike is governed by outside limits on supply and timing. Because weapons like this French-made hammer bomb arrive in finite batches, Ukrainian pilots have to be highly selective, making it nearly impossible to sustain constant pressure. Ukraine cannot win a simple war of attrition against a larger force. To bypass Russian drone swarms and fracture the morale of entrenched troops, they need a strike capability they can repeat locally, day after day. Recent operations reveal a deliberate pivot. Instead of relying purely on imported firepower, Ukraine is shifting to a multi-domain strategy, simultaneously attacking Russian forces with domestic technology, rapid tactical maneuvers, and targeted psychological warfare. The first pillar of this strategy rests on domestic production. Ukraine has officially deployed its first fully original, domestically manufactured guided aerial bomb into combat. Ukrainian engineers developed this as an original domestic design, engineered to penetrate the reinforced concrete of fortified positions and UAV command posts. The deployment follows 17 months of quiet development and testing. Before the public unveiling, pilots spent months refining the weapon under actual combat conditions, successfully collapsing Russian strongholds in active sectors like Kupiansk and Robotne. Scalable production allows these munitions to be used consistently. While specialized targets like drone operator centers don't require peak technological sophistication, they do require a bomb that can be dropped frequently enough to keep those positions under constant pressure. By securing their own supply chain, Ukraine gains an autonomous capability. They can now transition from executing isolated, opportunistic strikes into running a sustained, repeatable bombing campaign entirely on their own terms. We see the tactical application of this pressure up north. The Ukrainian 3rd Army Corps recently launched a major mechanized assault directly into the Russian bridgehead north of Lyman. Ukrainian planners targeted the terrain's weak points. Using superior local road networks, armored columns bypassed direct confrontation and drove fast through forested routes, penetrating deep into the northern flank before the defenders could react. They accomplished this advance by shielding the assault force under an intense, moving umbrella of electronic warfare. As the armor pushed forward, these heavy jammers completely neutralized the standard radio-controlled FPV drones that Russian forces typically rely on to blunt armored assaults. Stripped of their primary defense, Russian operators were forced to switch to fiber optic drones. While immune to radio jamming, these tethered drones require significantly more setup and preparation time to launch. That specific time delay was the window Ukraine needed. By the time the first Russian drones finally reached the assault groups, the Ukrainian infantry had already completed their deployments and secured the critical high ground. By exploiting this brief electronic window, Ukraine now physically occupies the high ground, dominating the primary supply corridor that feeds the entire Russian salient. Operational pressure eventually breaks the human element. We see this clearly with the recent intelligence operation targeting the Chechen Akhmat Special Forces in the Donetsk and Kursk regions. Ukrainian military intelligence successfully infiltrated the Chechen formation, managing to plant a listening device that directly exposed their staging areas and secret training locations. The intelligence was immediately weaponized. Successive waves of heavy Ukrainian strike drones hit the bugged facilities. The strikes triggered catastrophic secondary detonations in ammunition stockpiles, killing roughly 200 soldiers in a very short period. Surviving soldiers recognized that their own security services failed them. Repeated exposure to highly accurate drone strikes, combined with a total lack of protection from their commanders, caused massive internal frustration. The fallout is severe. Captured Chechen fighters are now voluntarily turning themselves in and explicitly asking to join Ukrainian-aligned units. Fueled by deep historical resentment toward Moscow, they are choosing to fight against Russian forces, rather than die for them. As battlefield losses continue to mount, the loyalty of Russia's auxiliary forces fractures. A single intelligence breach ultimately translated into a deeply psychological defeat for the Russian command. Ukraine is transitioning from static defense to active dismantlement. They are increasingly integrating domestic weapons, advanced electronic warfare, and targeted intelligence to create localized collapses in Russian lines. For the Russian units on the ground, the physical and psychological safety of the rear echelon has become conditional. Fortified buildings can now be consistently targeted by local production, standard defensive swarms can be blinded, and auxiliary troops are increasingly pushed toward mutiny. This combination of scalable domestic production and high-speed maneuvering suggests a repeatable method for eroding the static advantages Russia has relied on to hold the front. If production continues to scale, the same kind of localized collapse seen in Lyman and Kursk could become a frequent reality across contested sectors.